right, welcome back to What She Said Sports, everybody. It's late, and a lot of people on vacation. Apparently, I am too because I forgot tomorrow's Monday. But so I want to get right to this. Okay, so we have talked about the sabotage with Shedeur Sanders going all the way back to the spring with the Browns. Holding him back away from QB1 in terms of first team reps, not developing him. There being a contest, he can partake in a contest, he can win the contest, but still not get the job. Sabotaging his first, I guess, preseason game, even though he overcame and won, he was still sabotaged by his head coach. Same thing with the Rams game after Shedeur wins with the Panthers. Stefanski says on camera, we're going to have to put him down. He sacked excessively in the Rams game, takes him out of the 2-minute drill. All types of shenanigans or cruel actions to make sure Shedeur cannot perform at the QB1, whether he's not ready or whether there are activities to make sure that he doesn't get the opportunity, right? So even when he got the opportunity to QB2 after Flacco left, he still was not allowed first team reps. And he played in his very first NFL game without first team reps. And it was the back half of the Ravens game while his home was being robbed. So there's a lot of things happening here that seemingly are designed to throw Shedeur not just off focus, but to make sure that he can't be QB1. And it seems that even when he can be QB1 and he got the opportunity after the Ravens game, we went to the next game with the Vegas and they won that game. But we saw all types of sabotage with the Wildcat trying to rob Shedeur of the opportunity to score touchdowns. The same thing that happened in the Rams game with what we call Goon Squad. The entire O-line sabotaged Shedeur Sanders and had him sacked excessively. We talked about in the Vegas game with the Wildcats being taken out. Then we move on to the Titans game that with the Wildcats again. People just called it cruel. Finally, we don't see any Wildcats. What do we see? We have sabotage wristband gate. He gets the wrong wristband, so he can't be aligned with the player, so we can hold him back. So it seems that the Browns, Kevin Stefanski, the head coach, is working diligently to make sure Shedeur doesn't look to be effective or is not effective at the QB1 position. What else have we seen? We saw what people widely on the internet, it went viral as dirt divers. We saw people actually pretending to be blocking, but they're diving for the dirt. Jack Conklin, Joel Batonio, this was called out. It went viral, right? And we saw Conklin removed after that and other players step up, right? So wristband gate, dirt diving. Then last week, another set of players, the left tackle and right guard, went viral.
It's pretty bad right now.
The
Browns have one of those
activities, right? For not blocking for Shedeur, for falling on Shedeur. So last week, we cautioned Shedeur to be really careful because you can see number 68 falling onto him multiple times, pushing his lineman into him. Also number 72. So after the last game, we were already weary of 68 and 72 trying to fall onto Shedeur and hurt Shedeur, right? So now we go to the Bills game. Shedeur is balling out, but we see all types of sabotage. But I think the most egregious is what you're going to see right here. And Shedeur keeps overcoming. He keeps escaping. And no matter how painful it is, he keeps going. What did we see today? Context of the video you're getting ready to see. We saw Shedeur Sanders emerge with a bloody finger. And people didn't know what was going on. The media assumed that somehow he hit his hand on his helmet. No, it's worse than that. First of all, we're talking about his throwing hand. We're talking about his throwing hand. That's first and foremost. Now, remember, the quarterback position is the most important position on a team. I don't know in what world you walk up to your quarterback who's on the ground. You don't bend down because your knees aren't bent to help him up, but you apply pressure with your foot while his finger is under it. I have slowed this down so you can see how intentional it was for this unidentified O-lineman to step on Shedeur's finger. This was no accident. You're not picking him up. You're too close to him, first of all, to help him up. How far are the Browns going to go to make sure this young man cannot be QB1? Like, I already talked about pain being weaponized, and here we are. I said, is Shedeur ready for the sabotage in the Bills game? Here we are. Then this isn't the only sabotage. This is the most egregious to his throwing hand by his own teammate who's not helping him up. So let's take a look at this. And there's a reason why they haven't identified the person. And that's what's gross. So just take a look. We're going to look at it a couple of times. Pay attention. It's slow for a reason. What you see to the right is Shedeur's wristband. This arrow is pointing to Shedeur's finger that has the bloody finger that will eventually emerge. What you're seeing with the Browns logo colored socks are the Browns linemen, one of them stepping on Shedeur's feet. In the back, by the left foot of the lineman, is Shedeur's feet. So understand this, okay? Quarterback position is the most important position on the team, but it seems like when Shedeur is the quarterback, it doesn't happen. So look at this. So Shedeur's pulling his finger from underneath, right? He's getting up, his finger's bloody. Now watch, you're going to watch what happens. So this is intentional. So Shedeur has to try to get his finger from underneath this man's foot who pressed forward. That's the part that I find this. That Shedeur have to push you out the way to get up. What could you possibly be doing? This is no accident. And that's why I'm going live this late. This is intentional. To be the worst thing I have ever seen happen to somebody. This is not hazing. This is not a ritual. This is, we don't want you. We don't value you. And the fact that the media knew what it was, the fact that they knew who it was, and they didn't want to say who it was. This is not a freak accident. This is not a freak accident. And you lean back to relax your feet because I guess you think you're done. You're already a huge person. Is this what the Browns have to do? Make Shedeur unavailable to get their way? They can't just celebrate Shedeur while they have him. They have O-linemen diving into the dirt. 2 more O-linemen. So we're talking 4. Falling into Shedeur, pushing their defenders into Shedeur. We have wristband gate. We have wildcats. We have a snapper taking the ball and throwing it to the cameraman instead of getting 3 points for an easy field goal. Everything is designed so that Shedeur Sanders doesn't succeed, that he doesn't score touchdowns, that he isn't successful as QB1 in Cleveland. And all of this madness is allowed. And the fact that people wanted to gloss over this as if this was okay after fans have been watching the O-lineman either make Shedeur vulnerable so he could get pressured, so he could get tackled, so he could get injured. So when they can't get that done because he's smart enough to get from behind the pocket like we saw last week, they step on his hand. Tell me that this looks like an accident. It does not look like an accident. Look at how close he's standing to Shedeur. I'm not helping you. I need to see video to see what that person was doing. This is ridiculous. 9 times out of 10, you stand to his right. This is not okay. And because he didn't expose anybody with wristband gate, they're going to dial it up a notch. How desperate they going to get before the last 2 games? His house has already been robbed, and people suspect it was an inside job. We have watched this young man overcome every sabotage that they put in front of him. This is not about wins and losses. This is about personal safety. So you're going to take the quarterback out with an injury to his throwing hand because an O-lineman decides to press his big body on it. Was he hoping that Shedeur couldn't come back? Is that how you want to get back to Dylan? The fans don't even want that. You're going to have to go get somebody else. So y'all look at this again, and you tell me if this looks like a freak accident or an accident at all. So you see Shedeur getting up, right? This person isn't even moving out the way like, oh, my bad. Oh, man, I didn't know you were down there. Oh, I'm sorry. It's the quarterback. My nail broke off in the middle. Shedeur's nail was basically ripped off. Do you know how painful that had to be? So some outlets are praising Shedeur because he played through the pain. His resilience and toughness was applauded because he came right back out, even though this was painful. Ripping your nail off your finger. I don't know what's worse, giving birth, contractions, or ripping your nail off your finger. I think ripping your nail off your finger got to be worse than contractions and childbirth. And I have 2 kids, so I know what the hell I'm talking about. And I also just broke my finger nail in half, and it hurt like hell. This is not about testing his mental toughness. This is about breaking him. This is about sabotage by any means necessary. And I could see if you thought it was an accident because we typically watch his O-line protect for him. No, we don't. We don't watch his O-line protect for him at all. In fact, people say the O-line isn't good. That's false. The O-line is making decisions. And the fact that this O-lineman made the decision to, after the play was over, to stand so close to Shedeur, and he could have fell on him, to step on his finger and press it into the goddamn ground. This is no different. That's not protecting your quarterback. And neither is this. At the top, in the second quarter of the Ravens game, look at this Fort Knox around Dillon. And then over here to the left, the third quarter with Shedeur. Look at how they're scattered. These O-linemen have a history of setting Shedeur up to be injured via sacks, missing coverages, blocks, assignments, falling on him, pushing their damn defensive lineman into him, flip-flopping all over the place, dirt diving, and now injuring his throwing hand. This is no accident. The pattern is clear. The Browns seem desperate to take Shedeur out, to make sure he can't be QB1, finish the game, finish the season. And there's never any consequences. And mostly everything that happens is unexplainable. And people want to say nothing about this. Ouch. He's tough. And it's cold out there. Look at this man lean forward. Do you see that? What could you possibly be doing if the play is over and you're not helping your quarterback up? You're standing too close to help him up. You don't feel him at your knees. You don't feel it, but you're going to lean forward and drag your foot back. Really? So when you lean forward, you were trying to tear off his nail and did. That's disgusting, bro. That's disgusting. This is criminal. I've said it so many times. What's going on in Berea to keep Shedeur from QB1 or being successful at QB1 is criminal. Is it bribery? What else could it be? The pattern is clear. Between the snapper today, the O-lineman the whole time, the head coach himself, is it bribery to hurt the quarterback? Shedeur Sanders, QB1. There's only 2 games left. Are they upset because the fans want to see Shedeur? So by any means necessary, we take Shedeur out? They are trying to hurt this young man. And there's a long-standing pattern of it this season. Starting with the spring. And right up until this game. And several people are working together, and it seems to be at the behest of the head coach who started the sabotage. and it's continuing with the sabotage, whether it's the play on the field or manipulation of the personnel. Because you're not going to get everybody to agree to do this. And the fact that they wouldn't say who this was tells you that they knew it wasn't an accident, because they would have just said it. Oh, so-and-so stepped on his hand. Yeah, it was accidentally. This was not an accident. Let me see what y'all are saying about this. This was not an accident. It's disgusting. I need to be in bed, but this is crazy. Yeah, this is. It's that he stepped on it on purpose, missed his hand, and only got the tip of his finger. Understand, that's his hand. His pinky is attached to his hand. He didn't miss a damn thing. He didn't miss nothing. He got what he wanted to, trying to dislocate his pinky on his damn throwing hand, because it happened to Anthony Richardson. It said, this is crazy, and the internet is blaming Shedeur for Quinshawn's injury. I don't know how the hell they blaming Shedeur. Yeah, that's intentional. He pressed in, right? You can see it. You can see that he pressed in his foot. And they don't want to identify this person. So we protecting people who trying to hurt the quarterback. The NFL already had the Bounty Gate scandal where you pay to hurt the opposing team. So are Browns players, it begs the question, are Browns players, the head coach, paid, incentivized to hurt Shedeur Sanders? Let's be honest. Hugh Jackson was a head coach for the Browns and said he was incentivized to lose games. What do we see Stefanski doing? Making sure the Browns lose games by any means necessary, even when you're going to punt a field goal. You take the snapper and he throw the ball toward the cameraman on the side to make sure nobody can score. It's Stefanski being incentivized, or the players being bribed, incentivized to drop passes, to fall on the quarterback, to hurt the quarterback, to dive in the dirt rather than tackle, to throw their lineman, to take his wristband, to push defensive linemen into Shedeur, to fall on Shedeur, to step on his head, press on it until his nail comes off, which is excruciating. What will they do next? Because if this is how far you're willing to go based on what we saw in the Bills game, what would they do next? It said, bless up, good morning. Thank you for this. Yeah, people needed to know because they don't want to talk about this. They sure are protecting the person that did it. Right, Amber? They don't even want to talk about the person that hurt the damn quarterback. The quarterback is the most important person on the team, but you don't want to identify the person that supposedly accidentally stepped on their foot. No, that's not what it is. That's why nobody's talking about this. ESPN Cleveland was talking about Shedeur. I said, why aren't you talking about the lineman that stepped on Shedeur Sanders' foot? If it was an accident, they would have talked about it. They are trying to physically hurt this young man. So he can't be QB1 and play in a football game. Let that sink in for a minute. Didn't they draft him? So if you drafted him, you had to know it was an opportunity that would arise. So you want to upend it by stepping on his throwing hand. This was no accident. Hell would break loose if he would have stepped on the backside of his hand between his wrist and his fingers. So I do something that seems accidental, but I'm shown pressing my feet forward on his finger. I'm not helping him up. The play is over. Why am I standing there? This is disgusting. This is criminal. I agree. It was on purpose. They were trying to take out his throwing hand. Right. Absolutely. And then they wanted to say, oh, we think he hit a helmet. You have video footage. You know exactly who this is. You know what the hell he was doing when he pressed his foot forward. And it sure in hell in helping up Shedeur, because you can see Shedeur braced himself on the person's ankle after he takes his damn finger from under there to get up. That's just sad. He walks over there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can see he walks over there. You can see he walks over there. He clearly wasn't standing there. The play is over. What the hell are you doing? Move the hell out the way. No respect for the quarterback. I blame Kevin Stefanski for this toxic culture that he created and led in Cleveland against Shedeur, dehumanizing him all goddamn spring and summer. And now we have an Olineman, after months of sabotage, stepping on his hand like he's not human. This is on Kevin Stefanski. This is why you don't leave toxic people in leadership positions, because they infect everybody. This is disgusting. And somebody needs to do something about this. This is beyond sick. What they gonna do next? It said the PE coach O-line get ring pops for gifts and walking papers to go back to their real jobs. I think actually kids would have more human decency to step on somebody's finger and just stand there and not move when you know they right there, because you standing over them and the play is over. This is intentional. And so is the cover-up. And there's so many cover-ups in Cleveland. I said Shedeur need to be careful. And his father's right there. They don't give a damn. But they know enough to play the game a certain way. So they have to resort to weaponizing pain. And the media want to help cover it up. How many cover-ups are over there? It's time for a whistleblower on the inside to come forward before somebody gets seriously hurt over there. Shedeur has 2 games left. I pray God's will be done in his life, because these people have shown they will go to the extremes, including pain, to make sure Shedeur understands we don't want you, we don't value you as a quarterback on our team. And Stefanski seems to have this problem with every black quarterback. Every black quarterback that has been there gets devalued and discarded. So it's not a prize to collect black quarterbacks and mistreat them and devalue them like Stefanski is doing with Shedeur. Did he do the same with Deshaun? The same with Jameis Winston, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, PJ Walker? It should be looked into. The Browns have supplied enough evidence on camera long enough to investigate the corruption and the abuse and the dehumanization of Shedeur Sanders that appears to be running rampant through the Cleveland Browns organization. This is disgusting. You might be able to ID the lineman by how his shoes are taped. I was thinking about that, and you know I'm going to look tomorrow. It said, I wish I was a player. I would have pushed his, I would have pushed him off. No respect. Just absolutely no respect for the most important position on the team. Why? Because the head coach doesn't respect Shedeur. So why should they? And that's how they act, and that's how they think, unless they were bribed. And maybe that's what people need to get to the bottom of. Why the hell would the snapper take the ball and throw it to the cameraman? Why the hell would an O-lineman crush the quarterback's finger on his throwing hand into the ground, so much so that it tears his nail off and lacerates his finger, which is excruciating? And everybody want to cover it up. Wristband gate. Everybody want to cover it up. Notice the media didn't ask anything about it. Did they ask Kevin Stefanski about it? Did they show concern for Shedeur? Shedeur is in enemy territory. When I told y'all Shedeur Sanders was in the wrong professional football league, I hope you see what I'm saying. Because it shows they will stop at nothing. Yeah, that hurts. It said, yes, personal experience, and I'm a nail tech. Yeah, ripping your fingernail off, man, that's painful. It said these people need to understand this is on your resume forever. Yep, and it's on camera forever. And everyone isn't Kevin or Haslam. Facts. So the people that are doing the dirty work, the snapper that's throwing the ball into the stands, did anybody ask about that? Nobody's going to protect him. The dirt divers, let's see how long they get protected. The left tackle and the right tackle, 68 and 72. Everybody on the internet, they viral again. The person that stepped on Shedeur can't be identified. Everybody already knows who it is on the inside. It's not going to take the internet long to figure it out once they see the footage. That should have been viral already. But it's not. Because it's a cover-up. Yeah, did you see that? That's crazy, right? It said this is intentional. These people are sick. It said the O-line needs to be kicked out the league. Yeah, at this point, I say take the Browns. I say take the Browns, ball it up, and throw it away. It's corrupt from top to bottom. This is sad. Between wristband gate, the Wildcats having him sacked excessively. I mean, if I'm him, I'm not showering there. As soon as I'm out of my uniform, I might go home in the uniform if I can. If I can't, I'm taking it out, putting on my clothes, and getting the hell on. Because they gonna do something else. This is desperation right here. Wristband gate was unfathomable. This right here, this is sick. This is criminal. I'm sorry. You are trying to make sure he can't throw the ball. You didn't just want the fingernail to come off. That wasn't the goal. That was God. I know the plans I have for you. Not to harm you. This is disgusting, bro. I can't imagine being in the locker room with these kind of people. Can you imagine being in the locker room with somebody who tried to break your hand by putting a 300-pound frame on it and digging it into the dirt? These people on camera and they don't care. That's got to be the worst kind. They feel like they don't have nothing to lose. And they don't seem like they're going to stop at nothing. So, yeah, Coach Prime need to show up for the last 2 games so he can at least play football. But he going to have to protect himself and understand these people are not for you. You don't have to internalize their messages. We don't want you. We don't value you because God opened the door for you to be there. But you have to protect yourself. And not just when you enter and exit the facility in your home, but around your so-called teammates in the O-line that's supposedly there to protect you. When those that were hired to protect you put you in harm's way and do the harm, you ain't safe nowhere. And that's what this proves. And that's why I'm talking about it at 2:33 in the morning. I hope he sees this. I hope he sees this. You're not safe, Shedeur. When the people you were entrusted to set out to harm you and don't hold anybody accountable for it, not including themselves, you are not safe. And you have 2 games left and the stakes seem to be high. If you're just not joining us, we're talking about the video that should be viral of Shedeur Sanders' own O-lineman stepping on his own damn quarterback throwing hand, not any random hand, his throwing hand, and ripping the damn nail from the nail bed. You know how painful that is. I'm going to play this again. Keep going through y'all comments because people need to see this. So this is Shedeur moving it off, but you can see the guy walk up to Shedeur. And that's Shedeur's finger. That's the nail ripped off. Look at this. He presses forward. Look at how he presses forward. Shedeur is on the ground. What are you doing? Shedeur has to brace himself with the man's leg to get up. So you're not helping him up. And we need to see full footage of this. We need to see full footage of what the hell is going on. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Somebody said like Gladiator, 12 has won the crowd and Caesar will do anything to win it back. Facts. Facts. And look what happened when this took place. I don't know if they were expecting the finger to be dislocated, but it happened to Anthony Richardson. But they were expecting him to lead the game. And what happened when Dylan had to go in? The fans were like, get the hell out of here with that. Get the hell out of there. So what they going to do next? The fans have let you know, don't put him back in here. So what they going to do? Activate Bailey's app next week? Stay tuned. What they going to do? Play Deshaun Watson? Is fans still canceling season tickets over that? Stay tuned. Because if this is the extreme you're willing to go through to take Shedeur Sanders out the game so he's unavailable, and I told y'all, pain, making sure the player is unavailable. It's a goal, it's a strategy. And what did we see? With his own father sitting right there. We might have to let you play, but we don't have to let you win. We might have to let you play, but we don't have to keep you safe. And that's what they're doing. No, Design, nobody censoring your comments. Yeah, it's sad. It is sad. It is very sad. It's sad. It's criminal. Did you read tonight what the NFL is looking into? No, I didn't. I didn't. And if that was true and not AI, it would be everywhere. It said no one messes with your comments. Yeah. It said 72, 74, 68 on the line was letting him get hurt. Right. And if this is my throwing hand and I'm on the ground and this is my right hand, chances are you may have come from my immediate left or my immediate right. You're not helping me. So doing something while you think people can't see it. I'm assuming because Shedeur was so close, or they were so close to Shedeur, they didn't think the camera would watch them digging their foot into Shedeur's hand. Dummies. It disappeared. Oh, okay. It said, I knew they were going to blame Shedeur as soon as it happened. They blame Shedeur for anything. No. It said this needs to be investigated. Facts. But who gonna do the investigating? You see what I'm saying? This is criminal at this point. Somebody need to file a damn criminal complaint. This is crazy. Because there's 2 games left. Ain't no telling what the hell they gonna do. And if he have to go back next year, how many times Lamar Jackson been injured this year? His own Olineman stepped on his ankle. What kind of people are they recruiting in the NFL? Henchmen? Hitmen? Yeah, I wouldn't go out there no more. Yeah, something else gonna happen. That's crazy. I said they are going to try and injure Shedeur so he can't play. It said and eventually permanent injury will happen so he can't be traded. Yeah. Yeah, this is criminal. This is criminal. I would leave it alone. Yeah, it's not worth it. This is just not worth it, bro. This is not worth it. Yeah, they're still throwing bombs his way. Right. This is not worth it. They are trying to provoke Shedeur. I don't think they're trying to provoke him. I think they're trying to unend him. I think they're trying to make him unavailable. They not stepping on his hand and hoping he fight because that's too much pain. Stepping on his throwing hand in the manner that we saw is intentional, so he's out of the game. That's what that's about. It wasn't his left hand, it's his throwing hand. That's what that's about. I know these cleats must have hurt. Right. Don't these cleats have some kind of grip or something on the bottom of them so you don't slip and slide all over? You know, when you look at a football cleat, doesn't the football cleat have like prongs that come out of it, even if they plastic, or are they flat bottom? The bottom of a football cleat. I'm looking at the bottom of a football cleat. It says some of them have molded with plastic studs or detachable metal spikes. I'm assuming the NFL has plastic studs. I'm assuming they don't have metal spikes, but they have studs or spikes coming out of the bottom of the shoe. And this fool digs his feet into Shedeur's finger on his throwing hand. Did he even know where he was, or he was just trying to get any aspect of the hand? Did he decide the pinky? No. I'm clearly not looking down. I wasn't shocked, like, oh, my bad. Like, oh, man, get up. I don't see none of that. I don't see any of that. I just see pressing everybody in the foot into the front, to the tiptoe, where the finger is. That's crazy. Yeah, it's criminal. Every black QB in Baker Mayfield. Facts. It said Bucky may have it was on film. Yeah, I might have to go back and watch that because this should be viral. This is sad. Are they gonna reveal the person who stepped on him? They said the person hasn't been widely disclosed. They don't want old Colorado football players. We on TV It said, and to be successful. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't want to play for Kevin Stefanski if he came to another team. Right. He just only brings trouble. They asked Shedeur about his finger in a podcast. What did he say? They ain't gonna be able to get another team. 68 was trash today. He couldn't block a sentence with a period. Yeah, I don't know who this was. I don't know who this was, but I think you, like you said, you go back and see how the shoe and the socks look, and they taped up, right? So, I mean, you could look at people's calves, you could look at people's calf muscles, you could people ankles, you could look and figure some things out, and you shouldn't have to. This should have already been viral, number one, and two, they should have disclosed who it was if it was an accident, but it's not an accident. It's not an accident. I hope they are paying 68 to 72 enough to live well. No other team is dealing with them. I agree. I agree. I totally agree. When he pulled his hand out, is what probably tore it. He shouldn't have had to do that. He shouldn't have had to do that. I don't see how they sleep at night. Right. I don't either. I don't either. Don't forget the break-in. We didn't. We did not. Not to mention the break-in. They did that too. That's what people say. I mean, honestly, if you did all of this, if you over here stepping on my throwing hand, you damn sure broke into my house. You damn sure broke into my house. You sent somebody. You sent 3 somebodies, as a matter of fact. If you doing all of this, wristband gate, taking my wristband, having me sacked excessively, which means I could get hurt, taking me out the game with the Wildcats, taking me out the game in the preseason, set me up on 4th and 1 for a run play when it's a 1 yard. The running back just need to lean forward. All of this sabotage going all the way back to the spring. It's 2 games left. You're not going to quit. You're not going to quit. But how far will you go? Because you tried to hurt my throwing hand tonight. I can't even fall on the ground. If I fall on the ground and put my hand down, y'all going to step on it. This is mean. This is ugly. Cruelty. Cruelty is the point. It said, this is why Stefanski was surprised Shedeur came back in the game. Probably so. Because you know what? A reporter did ask Shedeur about his inability to throw or something. He said, if I couldn't throw the ball, I wouldn't have came back out like that. So somebody did ask him about that. So I don't know what the plan was, but I'm pretty sure it was to take Shedeur out the game. See, Dylan can't win. So that's why they want to roll with him. Shedeur can. And it's crazy because the only reason they want to do this is to prove we don't want him. Okay, then trade it. That's what gets me. You got to do all of this. That's like somebody going to another person's house and taking their life for something stupid. For something stupid. And people, judges like, you could have just, like, that's like, get mad. This is a true story. In New Orleans, long time ago, I read about this. A lady unended a man with a pew over a potato chip. And I knew instantly when I heard that story. I read about it, learned about it. I said, ain't no way. There's something else going on. That's what this situation gives. They not stepping on his peak by accident. They're stepping on his throwing hand intentionally because there's something else going on. And he didn't necessarily do anything. But they don't want Shedeur to be the guy. And I said before this game, is Shedeur ready for the sabotage by head coach Kevin Stefanski? Yes, I blame Kevin Stefanski for creating this toxic culture where you have an Olineman who's sent to protect Shedeur, who is dehumanizing Shedeur and trying to end his playing time. I ain't going to say his career because hands healed, but the point is, how extreme are you willing to be so that Shedeur is not QB1 in Cleveland for the next 2 games and next year? When you look at the pattern that Kevin Stefanski initiated from the spring all the way to now, including dehumanization, Shedeur better be careful these last 2 games. And I pray God's will be done for his own protection. It said, I hope it doesn't get infected. I doubt it. It's going to hurt like hell. I know that. It's going to hurt like hell. It said, hopefully another player will expose them privately. Another player? Yeah, a whistleblower. It's time. This is sad. Lamar Jackson is in the same predicament. Facts. Yep, that's the same. That's sad, bro. That's sad. It said God protected 12. Sure did. Sure did. Because I think they was hoping for more than that. I think they was hoping for the hand or for it to be dislocated. What are they playing on? Grass? You ripped the nail off. You didn't just stand on it. You had to stand and somehow either you just had exertion pressure on it and he had to take his hand out, which meant you knew you were standing on something. You knew you were standing on something. I don't care how much tape you got on your goddamn foot. You know you're standing on somebody's body parts because they move. Shedeur is right there. This was intentional. And people need to talk about this. This is sad. Pink says some of the cleats are spiked and some of them are studded. You see how God still excels him regardless of the scheme set for him? God will still block their plans, right? But it's painful. It's getting painful. And I don't know how much more painful it's going to get. It said, good night, everybody. Good night. Yeah, we get ready to get out of here. He looked down before he did it while walking towards Shedeur. Yeah, that's intentional. I need to know what the jersey number was on that. I think that was right tackle number 74. That's the right guard. That's Tevin Jenkins. Tevin Jenkins is the right guard. I do believe that's number 74. I have to look it up, but I think that's who it is. He's from Chicago. He said it was stepped on, but he didn't say it was a Browns player. Right. And he's not going to say that. Just like he didn't say anything about wristband gate. He just said, oh, it fell out. Right. See, covering for them don't help. And he's not necessarily covering for them, but he know they trying to bait him into causing an issue by saying what it is. So he don't say anything, but they take that as a sign of weakness. And they done ran it back again. And then they got 2 more games to run it back. 2 more games to run it back. And if Bounty Gate was already a scandal, he got to watch out for the opposing team trying to hurt him. But it seems it's more like his own teammates in the O-line rather than the opposing team. I didn't see anybody on the opposing team trying to punish Shedeur today. I didn't notice that at all. It said metal cleats and spikes are prohibited. It said NFL rules specifically ban shoe cleats made of metal, can be dangerous. Yeah, so there must be some kind of stud or something. I can't imagine that they flat. And he's still throwing with some good passes, right? Hasenberry will clean it up. The bench trade or waived the players. I don't know. I don't know because it's too much of a cover up. The color of his cleats prove it's a Brown player. His socks prove that. Look at his socks. The person's socks prove they're a Brown player before the cleats. So you see right here the socks? The socks tell you everything. And yeah, you can look at the way people's shoes are taped up. But somebody got this whole game, right? It don't even have to be the network. Somebody got access to the whole game. Because sometimes people record these games and put them out here later on. Or you can go on the NFL network and watch it again. And you should see, just like they stopped for Quinshawn, I don't even know if they stopped for this, right? And it even tells you that this happened in the 3rd drive of the game or something like that, it was saying. So you can pinpoint when this happened as people on the outside looking in, but they know when it happened, who this is. And I'm going to go with I said it was probably somebody to my immediate left or my immediate right. My immediate right is Tevin Jenkins. If I'm behind the center, Tevin Jenkins is right there to my right. Then it's 72 KT Levingston. But it's my right hand, so it's probably one of them. So and KT Levingston is a big, big, big guy. 74 ain't that little, but 72 is bigger. So the frame probably fits. But we'll see. It said he didn't do what Barry Sanders did, just walk away. What you mean? It said in 74, Tevin Jenkins, that is how he made the 53-man roster. Yeah, I think that, I don't know. I know, what's his name? Barry signed him, but it seemed like since the preseason game, he been a culprit. Since the preseason game, he been letting Shedeur get sacked and blowing coverages. You see how on TV you got the microphone covered his mouth. He wasn't having it. What's that you're talking about? Turner, it said, I have my pinky nail 412 with stitches with it. Yeah, your pinky nail, that hurts. Any nail hurts. It said, I can't wait till the NFL season is over with. Yeah, so Shedeur can stay safe. Because Shedeur can stay safe. All right, y'all, we're going to get out of here. I just want to bring this to y'all because I said earlier I was looking for it. I didn't find anything, and I did some more digging, right? And some people say, you know, him coming back out on the field, it shows his mental toughness, or his toughness and his willingness to play through extreme difficult situations. I don't think Shedeur got nothing to prove because the Browns don't care. We don't want you. We don't value you. They don't protect him on the field. They don't protect him from people that are setting him up on the field, including his own head coach. So Kevin Stefanski was doing all of the sabotaging until he needed help once Shedeur started playing. And he's been enlisting people, and we got a list of people with Jerry Jeudy, nowhere number 13, right? The whole damn O-line, and all of them, every damn body, right? So it's just sad that your own team will try to end your career or hurt your physical person because they don't want you to be their quarterback. And so many of the Browns players, it's too many, whether it's 1, 2, or 5, are working with Kevin Stefanski or following in his toxic footsteps to dehumanize and abuse Shedeur Sanders. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I wanted y'all to see this because it's crazy that we didn't already see this. I just wanted y'all to see it because it needs to be seen. This is criminal and it needs to be investigated. 2 games left. How extreme will they be? Shedeur Sanders, please protect yourself. All right. From your own teammates who are your enemies, please protect yourself. All right. So good night, everybody. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports Breaking News. Good night.